Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to our Master Slides and Design Tips workshop. I'm Henna,
I'm Brandon.
and today we're going to start with some technical tips on how to get the most out of Google Slides and then transition into some design tips so that your slides will be ready for case competition. So basically, to explain what master slides are, there we go. Master slides are the behind the scenes of your Google Slides. And if you can edit your master slides, you can control your theme, your layout, your background, your colors, and your fonts. And the biggest thing it does is make sure that everything is uniform, because you don't want to end up with a presentation where you have one text box that's like a different font than everything else, or the colors are slightly off or something like that, because it doesn't look very professional. So once you can edit your master slides, you can construct your own backgrounds and themes and get really creative with your slides while still keeping them super professional. So basically, I'm going to start with some examples of master slides I've done for previous case competitions. So for American Apparel, for example, I just hit slide and edit master, takes you back here. And these are some of the slides I've made where I really just took triangles and I turned them white and slightly transparent and put some colorful lines on them to make this kind of fun slide example. Move this over so you can see the edges. And basically, once you've done this, then when you close out of your master slides and you're back to your normal Google slide screen that everyone's used to, you can't edit these shapes anymore. So I can't change the line or the triangle. I can't move it around. It just becomes part of the background. And when I hit present, um, it looks super clean. All the lines fit. And it's basically like I created my own background. So when I go to add in another slide, all of the master slides I created are in my drop-down menu. So if I wanted to add a slide with some bullet pointed list, I could pick this one and it would show up like that. Another quick example, I did one for Juice Perfect as well. Slide, edit master, and I put like some cute little cog shapes in it since it was like supply chain in the juice manufacturing factory. And we picked our colors, got kind of creative with it. So when you go to your drop down menu to add another slide, I have all of those options to pick from. So that's basically just some examples of what you'll be able to do after this workshop. One thing I would like everyone to do to bring your slides to the next level would be to get this slide add-on or extension. It's just called Insert Icons for Slides. That's all you have to Google. You can add this extension, and then once you do that, you have a menu of all of these different icons, as you can see here, that you can insert into your slides to make them look a little more visually appealing. So I've already done that. So once you have that add-on, if you open a new document of like a new Google Slides that are blank, if you click add-ons here at the top and insert icons for slides, you have access to all of those icons. And you can change their color up here, change their size, and use them to make your slides just the next level, in my opinion. So what we're going to do here is really quickly, I'm just going to show you guys how you can edit your master slides for maybe like Vegan Med, this, which is the current case competition. So what you're going to do is hit slide, edit master. The first thing I want to bring your attention to is this top one called master right here. This is the one that's going to set all of your fonts. So if I click to edit master title style on every single one of my slides, the title is going to be the color and the font that I put it here. So I'm going to do Laura, and then I'm going to choose all of my bullet levels, and I think I'm going to make them a dark gray color and also Laura as well. Once you click out of your master slides, if for some reason you want to change this font, you can. I can make it permanent marker, and that works perfectly fine. But what your master slide does is it ensures that the default font is whichever one you set it as. So once you've set your fonts in this master box, you can go to layouts. You have all of these slides that you can edit however you want. So let's just say, for example, I want to zoom out a little bit, sorry. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to add like a cool color splash across the front. Maybe I'll just put a triangle here like this. And I'm not going to do this super perfect, but I'll make it green or something like that. And then let's say I also want to add an icon to fit my theme. So go to my different icons that I have in my menu. And we're doing vegan med, so maybe I'll look at what kind of plants they have. This kind of reminds me of the vegan med vibe, so maybe I want a seedling. I'm gonna make it white. You don't have to know hex code, but I'm just gonna make it white. And then I can click on it. It shows up on my slides. I get to pick how I want it to look. Maybe I put all my page numbers in a little leaf in the corner on my slide, something like that. And how this works now is if I close out from my master slides, it's saved. I can't touch it, but it's just now the new background for my slides. So I have a quick example. I made a few different options of the same theme. It's what I'm using for the slides for this presentation. I did different triangles, different shapes, and I have a drop-down menu here where I can basically add all of the ones that I created. And then the other thing too is if you use a preset Google background, like if you just use one of the layouts that, or the themes that Google provides, you can still edit the master slides of that. So if I just wanted this regular Google provided background, I can edit the master slides and change the font how I like it. All right, so that pretty much is all you need to know about master slides. I'm gonna go ahead and put up this screen right here. This might be one you wanna screenshot. It basically just has all the tips we learned today, how to edit your master, a tip or a reminder to set your fonts and colors, how to get that icon add-on that I put at the top of my slides. And then if you have any questions, you can go ahead and message me. That's my Facebook URL or user right there. And that's basically all you need to know about like the different technical tips that we're going to provide today. So I'll go ahead and transition to Brandon because he has some great design tips for you on how to, once you know how to use your slides, how to make them as beautiful as they can be. Okay, Brandon, off to you.
All right, thanks, Anna. So now that we know a lot of the inner workings of creating a presentation on Google Slides, let's go over some design tips that'll help make your presentation really stand out. The first thing is the use of script fonts. These are the fonts that look like handwriting, sometimes it's cursive. It's great at conveying certain tones, but you have to make sure you use it sparingly and effectively. Whoa, can you even read any of this? This is an example of what will happen if your entire slide is just using script fonts. Sure, it looks really pretty and nice, but it's not effective in the slightest. If you have to struggle to look at the text, it's not effective. So let's try this again. See, this slide is much easier to read. Both slides have the exact same words, but the font makes a world of difference. The general rule of thumb for script fonts is if you want to use it, keep it in the title, but avoid using it in your body text. In your body text, try using sans serif and serif fonts instead. But you may be asking though, what the heck does serif and sans serif even mean? These are the two font types that are the MVPs when it comes to creating an effective presentation. Serif is the type of font that you'll traditionally see in books and newspapers. It pretty much just has the little strokes at the end of the letters and provide a certain style to your message. In recent years, however, most have been using sans serif fonts, which are fonts that are just super simple lines with no extra strokes. It's generally seen as cleaner and easier to read than just regular serif fonts. If you notice throughout this presentation, the main font that I'm using, Montserrat, it's a sans serif font, which is really clean and very simple. Whoa, look what we have here. What text did you notice first on the slide? Did your eyes first direct to the left or to the right? Most likely the left. Even though it's not exactly the easiest to read in that orientation, the sideways one, this is visual hierarchy, which is the next thing that we're going to be focusing on. But first, what is visual hierarchy? Visual hierarchy is strategically arranging text or elements on your designs to highlight what is important. It also takes advantage of trying to control the order of what your audience reads first. So when people try to read anything, it's usually top to bottom, left to right. The way people scan articles and designs in that way is usually referred to as an F pattern for obvious reasons. People also usually read the largest text first. Truthfully, you probably have a lot of insight into visual hierarchy already, even if you didn't know it. If you put your title on top and in a bold or a different font from the rest of your text, that's an example of utilizing visual hierarchy. For your next presentation or graphic, think about what you would personally read first and modify your designs to make it more effective. Here's another super simple but effective example of visual hierarchy. You definitely read the big text first and the small text second. So make sure that big text is an extremely important point. There's actually a ton of principles of visual hierarchy that haven't been explained here. So check it out if you have the chance. Next up is an extremely important aspect to any presentation, which is color. It's important to know some general rules regarding color, as it's very easy for your presentation to go haywire if it's not used in the right way. A major point is to use contrasting tones. You can definitely read the box on the left fine, but the one on the right is really hard to read. That's because one is using a dark text on a light color, and the other is using a light text on a light color. The same applies to dark backgrounds. You can read white on dark blue absolutely fine, but black on dark blue is a struggle. My general rule for any of these design tips is if you can't read it easily on the first try, or if you have to squint, there's probably something you should change in your presentation. On the topic of color, colors have emotions associated with them that you should definitely use to your advantage in your presentations. Here are some examples. Red is often seen as aggressive, exciting, and passionate. Yellow is nice and happy and warm. Blue is serene and calm. Purple is more luxurious and mysterious. And brown represents reliability, strength, and a certain earthiness. You can notice the use of color for emotions when you look at cartoon characters and mascots in advertisements. Just looking at the colors here, it might be hard to notice the emotions each color gives off though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some examples where it's the same exact slide, but just with different color variations. Ooh, here's red. You can notice how just in your face it is. It kind of makes you want to just jerk your head back when first seeing it. But on the other hand, here's yellow. This shade of yellow is still pretty bright and in your face, but it's generally more warm and inviting than red. Where we start seeing a huge difference is here with blue. The vibe is a lot more chill, a lot more calm, like the EBSA colors, chill and calm. Uh, and then purple has that luxurious feel to it. And then finally, brown, somewhat boring, but reliable nonetheless. So every single color on the whole color scale has a specific emotion attached to it. So search up those colors and see if you can incorporate those colors into your presentation to accomplish a specific feeling. Next up is just knowing that less is more. If you have a lot of information, it may seem like the best idea is to just cram as much info you have to show your knowledge. But in actuality, it tends to actually work against you. Here's an example of that. It's kind of extreme, but many presentations do try to blow their slides up with as many images as possible. The problem there is that the audience is going to be so busy trying to decipher what these images are that whatever you say is going to go in one ear and just right out the other. So what do? Instead, try to keep it minimal. You want your audience to focus on what is happening and to what you're saying. So you can't let your own images upstage you. My general rule of thumb is like 1 to 3 images per slide, but you can use that to your own ideas and what you think looks fine. But the same goes for color. This slide is just a complete hodgepodge of colors that'll totally confuse your audience. Individually, these colors can work, but together it's just an absolute mess. We talked about how color conveys an emotion. So now just imagine every single emotion hitting you all at once. It's super overwhelming. Try to keep the number of different colors you use on a single slide minimal. On my next slide, you'll be able to see how just a single variation in color can have a supreme impact. So here, finally, don't be afraid of empty space. Empty space actually helps to create focus on the points that you're making. It emphasizes that this is an important point that somebody should pay attention to. It also carries a feeling as well. It's sleek, refined, and gives your presentation a feeling of class. So that's all the tips I have for today, but try using them in your case comp presentations and see the difference it'll make. If you have any questions, feel free to message me or Hannah on Facebook. I'm Brandon Aquino,
I'm Hannah Cabra.
and good luck on your presentations, everybody.